Holy smokes, everyone. Home sales are collapsing, inventory is skyrocketing, home builders contracts are being cancelled, existing home sale contracts are being cancelled, mortgage rates are rising. I've got some new shocking data that shows the housing market crash has already begun and things are looking much like 2008 or could be even worse. So if you've been someone that's been dreaming about owning a home, or you're someone that's been dreaming about eventually investing in real estate, I have some great news for you, because in the near future, homes are going to become much cheaper. With all the news, facts and data I have now, it is only a matter of time before the housing market begins to fall, and fall hard. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over the US housing market, but this is a phenomenon that's happening around the world. In 2020, we saw the global housing market boom, but now with central banks around the world, in Australia, Canada, the UK, etc., lifting interest rates, we're going to see, like we saw in 2020, a global housing boom. We're going to see a global housing downturn. So everyone, you're definitely not going to want to miss this one. This is going to be one of my most important housing market updates I've ever made. Please, if you can, because I took a 2-month break on YouTube, YouTube is no longer promoting these videos in the algorithm. Unfortunately, that's what YouTube does. They punish creators that need a break. So if you could, please like, comment, subscribe, watch this video all the way through to get these videos back in the algorithm. So everyone, let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the news, the facts, and the data. So look at this, everyone. We're in a housing recession. Experts say here's what that means for homeowners, sellers, and buyers. So that's right, people. Even the real estate experts, the real estate agents, they can't hide it anymore. They know that we are in a housing recession and the economy is in a recession, even if they try to change the definition, and the housing market is going to go down. But that's just the beginning. Look at this. US new home sales have tumbled to a 6.5-year low. And I'm not surprised at all. I don't know about you, but I've been talking to a lot of people on the street, a lot of friends, a lot of family. They all know that the housing market is going to go down. And if you buy now, you are literally buying at the peak. Not only are you buying homes that are so unaffordable, but if you're locking in a 30-year fixed rate mortgage now, you're also paying crazy high interest. So this is probably the worst time to buy a house right now. New single family home sales dropped 12.6% just in July alone. Also, what I want people to understand is this is just the beginning. The Federal Reserve has only just begun to lift interest rates. Interest rates are nowhere near at their peak, and home sales are already starting to collapse. What do you think will happen when mortgage rates hit 7-8%? Things are only going to get worse. And while a lot of the media is saying, well, look, house prices haven't fallen much yet, there's nothing to worry, nothing to fear. Of course, they're going to say that. They have to keep everything so positive. They have to keep the narrative going. But again, people have to understand that these things take time. It took about 3 years for the housing market to bottom after 2008. I know you really wish, house prices would drop 50% next week, next month, but it just simply doesn't work like that. Things take time. But we are seeing the beginning of the end right now. The Fed is getting what it wants, said Matthew Walsh, an economist at Moody's Analytics in West Chester, Pennsylvania. The housing market needed to cool. High interest rates were the only thing that was going to accomplish that. And they're only going to get higher. Now listen to this piece of data, everyone. This is absolutely crazy. Home sales have dropped 29.6% on a year-over-year basis. That is an absolutely massive drop, people. And we're starting to see a lot of similarities to what led up to the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis. They peaked at a rate of 993,000 units in January 2021, which was the highest level since the end of 2006. And what happened after that? Data last week showed that single-family housing starts plummeted to a 2-year low in July, while home resales fell to the lowest level seen in May 2020. The National Association of Home Builders Wells Fargo Housing Market Sentiment Index fell below the break-even level of 50 in August for the first time since May 2020. So again, we're starting to see consumers know that the housing market downturn is coming. We're starting to see consumer sentiment here in the housing market. It's now fallen below the break-even level of 50. And as we start to see mortgage rates go higher and higher, as we start to see house prices fall, sentiment is only going to get worse. And like there's FOMO, fear of missing out, there's fear of not getting out, and you're going to start to see homeowners start to sell rapidly and try to discount their homes to try to get out before the real downturn begins. Again, some more similarities to 2008. There were 646,000 new homes on the market at the end of last month, the most since March 2008. Things aren't looking good, people. And up from 450,000 units in June. Houses under construction made up 67.2% of the inventory, with homes yet to be built accounting for 23.1%. And I'll get into later in the video how homeowners in mass are cancelling their home building contracts. The raft of weak housing data left economists expecting that residential investment would contract again this quarter after declining at its sharpest pace in 2 years in the second quarter. Well, I think it seems pretty obvious now, doesn't it? Now, what has been the theme over the past 2 years while they keep saying that the housing market is so strong, why prices won't drop? They keep saying inventory, inventory, inventory. Saying inventory is so low, prices can't fall. Well, now inventory is starting to reverse, and it's starting to reverse hard. And we just got some new data to show what's happening with housing inventory, specifically for new home builds, and things are absolutely crazy. Look at this. This is a chart of the monthly supply of new homes in the United States. Now, what we can see here in 2008, the monthly supply of homes absolutely skyrocketed all the way up to 12.2 months worth of supply. Then we can see there was a big drop off. And we can see here in August of 2020, it hit a low of 3.3 months. And this is why we saw this crazy housing boom, because there was such low supply. But look what's happening now. Inventory is absolutely skyrocketing, and it's starting to hit levels not seen since 2008. So far we got home sales collapsing. Inventory is rising. So already it's not looking good, but wait, it gets even worse. Another reason why the housing market boomed in 2020 was because, look at this, mortgage rates fell to 2.65%, almost free money when you factor in inflation. But what has happened to mortgage rates now? They have skyrocketed all the way up to 5.8%. This is more than double what they were in January 2021. And again, what people have to remember, the Federal Reserve has only started to lift interest rates, and what they're about to start doing is selling US Treasuries and mortgage-backed securities, which is going to make interest rates start to accelerate even faster and go even higher. And I think mortgage rates could easily hit 7 or 8%. Now, for every 1% increase in interest rates, people's borrowing power gets reduced by 10 or 15%. So if we have interest rates 5% higher than they were a year ago, well, then their borrowing power is going to get reduced by nearly 50%. And we all know the housing market relies on credit, so this means a downturn is inevitable. And also what I hear is a lot of people saying, well, BlackRock will come and buy up the homes. These hedge funds will come up and buy up the homes. People, they won't come up and buy up the homes because, one, they won't be able to get this cheap credit anymore. And two, they know prices are going to fall. So these hedge funds, they've got shareholders to answer to. Their shareholders aren't going to want them to buy homes now. I'm sure what they're going to do, and what you should be doing too, is waiting on the sidelines for when homes get much, much cheaper. Even more proof and more data that home buyers are starting to panic. Look at this. Home buyers are backing out of more deals as high mortgage rates persist and recession fears linger. Again, with the US officially entering a recession, a lot of home buyers are now aware of how bad the situation we're in, now that they're starting to see the headlines. And once we see unemployment start to rise, that's really going to be the final nail in the coffin for the housing market. Listen to this. This is alarming. Home building cancellation rates have more than doubled since April, according to a survey by John Burns Real Estate Consulting. That's right, home cancellations have doubled since April alone. And guess what? It's only going to get worse. People have signed these contracts, thought they could afford it when mortgage rates were at record lows. Now all of a sudden mortgage rates are much higher. They cannot afford it any longer. Or they know house prices are going to drop more, so they don't want to get caught holding the bag, so they're trying everything they can to get out of these contracts, even willing to lose their deposits because they don't want to lose even more than their deposit. Nationwide, about 63,000 deals on existing home sales fell through in July, or about 16% of homes that went under contract that month, according to Redfin. That is absolutely crazy. 16% of homes that went under contract were cancelled in July alone. I don't know how people can still deny that a housing downturn is just around the corner. So what were some of the biggest states and cities that had these home sales cancellations? Because remember, the US is just not one housing market, and not every state falls or rises at the same pace. So again, even though I'm saying there is going to be a housing downturn, there may be some other states or some other cities that outperform. So Texas, we saw a lot of people moving to Texas, and also a lot of investors buying in Texas. And the broader Southwest is seeing the biggest jumps in builder cancellations at 27% and 25% respectively. Cancellations are also higher than the national average in North California and the Northwest at 23% and 19% respectively. So if you're living in some of those areas and you're starting to see these cancellations, let me know in the comments below. So we can see this chart here of the year-over-year change in cancellation rate for buyers of new home builds by the region. We can see Texas, Southwest, North California, and the Northwest. And they go on to say that some home buyers are just simply walking away willing to give up their deposit because they're worried about inflation in the economy and they're worried about their home values dropping further. But some contracts vary widely between different states, between what some buyers can do when they can, whether they have to give up the deposit. In some states like California, they can walk away and still retain their deposit. So cancellations on existing homes are particularly high in Florida, which saw a massive influx of buyers during the first year of the pandemic and also saw some of the strongest home price appreciation during the nation during that time. So I guess we're starting to see the trend here. Areas that saw a lot of migration, maybe a lot of people thought that they could work from home, so they moved interstate, and then all of a sudden their employers telling them, no, you have to come back to the office. And also a lot of areas that saw a lot of investor demand, they're starting to say that, look, I think house prices are going to drop, so I think I'm going to cancel this contract because I don't want to be underwater. So everyone, I know what you're thinking, okay, what does all this data mean for me in simple terms? What this means is it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what is going to be coming. We're in a recession, home sales are falling, inventory is rising, mortgage rates are becoming more expensive, people know houses prices are going to fall, they're canceling their contracts. So what this means over the next few months, we're going to finally start to get the data to see that house prices could fall. And I think house prices could easily fall 20% if mortgage rates keep rising. And if things get really dire like 2008, it could not be out of the realm of possibility that we see house prices contract 40% if mortgage rates do get up to that 8% range. But again, everyone, I'm not saying that's going to happen in a week, a month, a few months. This is going to take time, just like it took years in 2008. But be patient for those of you that are desperately trying to get in the housing market. I think your time is going to be coming very, very soon. But everyone, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.